Yo, what's up everybody? It's your boy Floss, back again with another video. And today we're going to do the real review of the Samsung Galaxy S7 and the Galaxy S7 Edge. Now I'm going to put both of these in the same video because other than a few minor differences, they're pretty much the same phone, and we'll talk about the differences when we get to those parts. Now if you're new to my channel, the reason I call this the real review is that I'm not trying to say that anybody else's review is fake. No. I call this the real review because I'm a real consumer just like you. All of these phones that you see me reviewing are phones that I bought with my own money, so I don't pledge no allegiance to none of these companies, and I don't got any reason to give y'all any fake information. All right, so let's get started. Now, get your popcorn ready. This is going to be a long video. And the reason it's going to be a long video is, look, if you're buying these phones off contract, the Galaxy S7 is going to run you around $700, and the Galaxy S7 Edge is going to run you around $800. That's a lot of money. Now, depending on who you are and where you work at, that could be one whole paycheck or even two whole paychecks. So I'm trying to give you as much information as I can before you spend your money. Now, I'm going to answer two questions that I've been getting asked all week. The first one, if I had to buy a phone right now and I had to lock into a 2-year contract, would I buy an S7 or would I buy an S7 Edge or something else? And my answer is I would get a Nexus 6P. And the reason for that is this phone is pretty much future-proofed already. You got a fingerprint scan on the back. You got a quality build, big 6-inch display. You got dual speakers on the front, USB-C charging, and it's a Nexus. So you're always going to have the latest version of Android. And people that use Android phones know once you get that latest version of Android, it's basically like getting a new phone. Remember when you had Lollipop and then you got Marshmallow? It's just like getting a new phone. So I would buy a Nexus 6P and I'll leave these alone. Next. Now the next question I've been getting asked every day is if I got a Galaxy S6 or a Galaxy S6 Edge or even a Galaxy S6 Edge Plus or even a Galaxy Note 5, should I upgrade to the Galaxy S7 and the S7 Edge? And my answer is no. And the reason is, look, it's pretty much the same phone. Now there is some new features. We'll talk about those in a minute, and that depends on how important these new features are to you, like the waterproof feature, also the micro SD card slot. It depends. All right, it depends how important that's going to be to you. I would say right now, if you don't really care about those two features, don't upgrade yet. Especially if you're going to sell your Galaxy S6 or your S6 Edge Plus for maybe $300, you're going to be taking a loss. Now, if you can find somebody that's going to buy it for you for maybe $500, then I would say do it. But other than that, hold off. Because if you want a waterproof Galaxy S6, all you got to do is buy a case and you buy a micro USB flash drive, and you got those two features right there. That's going to be way cheaper than buying a $700 or $800 phone, especially if you sell your other phone for $300. It's not going to add up. All right, so I would say hold off on the upgrade. Now, let's get started with the review. Just like any of my other reviews that I do, I always got to start off with everything I don't like first, and then we'll get into everything that I do like. First thing I don't like, now this goes for both phones, the price. The price of these phones is too damn high. Now, considering that you got other phones on the market, like the Blue Vivo 5, you got the Hawaii 5X, you got the OnePlus X. All of these phones have top dog specs, and the price of these phones are $200. So now you got these Galaxy phones, they're on the market, off contract, $700 and $800. That's way too high. Now, a lot of people ask me, why do I complain about these things all the time? Because you have to remember, these companies, they watch these videos. These companies are listening to the consumers. Remember, everybody kept bitching about Samsung taking away the micro SD card slot. Everybody complained about that. Now you got your micro SD card back. The next step would be the battery. So we got to complain about these things that we don't like. If everybody complains about the price, everybody starts buying these budget phones instead of these, Samsung is going to have no choice but to drop the price. So that's the first thing I don't like, the price, too damn high. Next, no removable battery. Now, is that a big deal? Not really, but it depends. Now, if you had a Galaxy Note 4, you know there's nothing better. There's no better feeling right now than when you out somewhere and you're watching a YouTube video or you're sending some text messages and you're doing some work and your phone battery is on 1% and then your phone just completely dies. You go in your back pocket, you pull out another battery, swap it out, and you go from 0 to 100 real quick. There's no better feeling than that. Now look, we got all these portable battery chargers and battery charge cases. We got fast charging and wireless charging and all that. But like I said, there's nothing beats having an extra battery, or maybe 2 or 3 extra batteries on deck. So I would like to see that feature. Now a lot of people are going to say, well, look at these premium build phones. They can't make a removable battery. Take a look at the G5. All right, that's all I'm going to say. Take a look at the G5. If LG could do it, Samsung, y'all could do it too. Next, no micro USB-C. Now, look, that can go either way. In some ways, that's kind of good, because if you have some of these old accessories like your Samsung dock, or if you got a portable battery charger with a built-in micro USB charging cable, then you can still use all your old accessories. But everybody knows USB-C is the wave of the future. You get faster data transfer speeds. The cable is reverse compatible. And if y'all watch my videos, you see every time I stick in a micro USB charging cable, I always put it in wrong the first time. Never have that problem with my Nexus 6P. And even some of these budget phones have USB-C charging. So Samsung, you dropped the ball on that one. They should have USB-C charging. Next, now this is a feature that I still miss from my old Galaxy phones, the IR blaster. No IR blaster on this. Some people who never used it, y'all don't even care about that. But people who had a Galaxy Note 4, Galaxy Note 3, and you lived on that IR blaster and you was doing some major trolling in the diners and the doctor's office, changing the TV channels and all that, you're going to miss that feature. Just like me. I miss that feature right now. So I wish they would have left the IR blaster. Samsung, bring that back. Next, the storage. Now this is important. When you buy this phone, they advertising it as a 32 gig storage phone. But when you take it out the box and you put your information in and you go to your storage settings, you're going to realize that it's not 32 gigs, it's not 30 gigs, it's not 28 gigs, it's all the way down to 20. That's a major drop. TouchWiz is such a heavy skin. That's a major, major drop. From 32 to 20, once you put your apps in and you put your pictures and your music, that's it. It's almost like buying a 16 gig phone. Now, not the biggest deal in the world, since you do have a micro SD card slot and you can move apps over now. So not the biggest deal in the world, but they should have had an option for 64 gigs or even 128. So Samsung, either you got to do something about this OS, or you got to make more choices available. You should have at least had a 64 gig version. I would have paid the extra couple of dollars. Next, now this one has to do with the Note Edge, specifically with the Note Edge. The Note Edge, the S7 Edge. Look at the name, S7 Edge. So when you hear Edge, you're thinking that it's going to be a lot of apps and a lot of functions of the actual Edge, and it's not really. I mean, now look, you can do a lot of stuff with this Edge, but nowhere near as much stuff as you could do with your Galaxy Note Edge. Now, shout out to anybody who had the Note Edge. That's the best Edge that Samsung ever made. I don't know why they didn't put some of those features on the S7 Edge. And one of the main features I missed is when you had your phone on the table like this and you got a notification, an email, a text message, it would read that message across the side of the phone. That was a hot feature right there. Now you see I just activated, you do have the feature where you swipe on the side and you get, you could get your news, you could toggle through these, you can see how many messages you got. You do have some functionality, but to name a phone S7 Edge, you would think that the Edge is like the highlight of the phone, and it's not. It's not. There's some apps and there's some stuff you could do. We'll talk about that in a minute, but it should have been more apps and more Edge functionality. I don't like that. And last but not least, the RAM management. Now, this one is actually better than the S6 and the S6 Edge and the S6 Edge Plus and the Note 5. The RAM management is a little bit better, but it's still not the best. And what I mean by that is, say you go on Facebook, right? You go on Facebook and you're on somebody's post, maybe a thread or something, and you leaving a message or something, and something happens, you got to exit out that app, and maybe you got to go do something at work, maybe you got to check some pictures, or you got to check something else. When you come back to that Facebook app, now it's going to reload the app. Unless you come back in like 5 minutes. Anything more than like 5-10 minutes, you're going to have to reload that app. All the stuff you was typing, whatever you was looking at, that's gone. And that kind of bothers me also when I'm in Instagram. When I'm doing my Instagram stalking procedures and I'm on a nice page and I'm checking out some buns, I might have to put the phone down for a minute because somebody comes in my office and I got to talk some business. Then when I get back, I open my Instagram back up and it reloads from the beginning. I lost that picture. All right, so I don't like the RAM management on this. A phone that has 4 gigs of RAM, you would think that it's going to have better RAM management. It doesn't. All right, so they need to step that up. Now, I know I was complaining a lot. Now, let's get into everything that I do like. And keep in mind, all this stuff, take into consideration before you go out and drop $700 or $800 on a phone. Think about those things, because there's other phones in the market right now that do the same thing as these two phones and cost half the price, 1/3 of the price, and some of them that cost exactly the same price, but you're going to be future-proofed. Okay, so now let's talk about everything that I do like. This goes for both phones. First, the build. This is the best built Samsung phone. I would say not only Samsung phone, this is the best built phone on the market right now. Not the sturdiest. Now, okay, not the sturdiest. Keep in mind, it's made out of glass. If you drop this with no case down the stairs, it's going to break. But if you looking for that quality build, that premium feel, a phone that when you hold it in your hand, it's going to feel like $800 worth of phone, this is it. Now, both phones are going to get that feel, but with the Edge, you're going to get more of a premium, high-tech, James Bond kind of feel because of the curved display. This phone is awesome. Now, the colors on this, the colors. I used to think gold was the best color, but after using the titanium or adamantium as we calling it now, the silver to me is the best color on this one. Now, one of my boys got the black. It does look tough in the black too. I never seen the white personally yet, but I would say if I had to pick a color, I'm going with the titanium. All right, so the build quality on this, superior. Next, the phone is waterproof. That's a major plus right there. Now, I was planning on doing an actual waterproof test for y'all, but I ended up doing one by accident. The other day, I was feeding my cat. I put some food down for her, and I had a shirt on with a pocket in the front. I had my phone in the shirt pocket in the front. When I bent down to put the water bowl down, the phone slipped out of my pocket right into her water bowl. And my first reaction was, fuck. I quickly jumped in there, took the phone out. Then I started laughing when I remembered that the Galaxy S7 Edge is waterproof. So I just shook it off, put it back in my pocket, no problems at all. So the waterproof feature, that's a major go. Anybody had the S5, you know, waterproof phones, yeah, that's a major plus. Now, me, I'm not really around environments like that too much, or I don't really care about that. But say you're a type of person that don't drive and you outside walking around a lot, you might be walking around in the rain. Maybe you go to the beach a lot, you in the pool all the time, whatever you do. Waterproof phones is a plus compared to a phone that's not. Now you don't have to go out and buy a waterproof case. You could use a little gel skin case and you still have the same protection. So I'm definitely feeling that. Next, the display. Now we'll talk about both phones. The Samsung, the S7, right now I would say has the best display in the universe. In the whole entire universe, there's no phone that has a better display than the S7. All right. Now the difference is with the S7 Edge, you lose a few PPIs. All right. Shout out to the PPI Patrol. Basically the same display from the naked eye. They're gonna look the same, but you're gonna lose a few PPIs. I don't care. I would say these two phones right now, best display on the market. But the Galaxy S7, best display in the universe. So you ain't gonna have a problem. And y'all know, AMOLED displays, those are my favorites. Why? Because look at the blacks. Now, if you get an LCD IPS display, yeah, they look nice too. But the blacks are never 100% black. They're a little bit more washed out. All right, a little bit more washed out. Have a little more grayish hue to them. That's why I always use black backgrounds, especially on AMOLED displays, because it just looks insane. And a little known fact is black backgrounds also save your battery. It helps save battery when you use a black background. Look at it, Google that for yourself. Next, this is a feature right now that I'm definitely feeling, the always on display. This is a hot feature right here. Now, later at the end of the video, we'll go through the settings. We'll play around with it. I'll show y'all some of the different faces you could choose. But this is so dope right here. Now, a lot of people was asking me with the always on display, how much battery life is that going to drain? I just tested this out for myself yesterday. I went to the gym at 5 o'clock on the dot. At 5 o'clock on the dot, I was getting out the car. I left this phone in the car. The battery was on 90%. I made sure that I got back to the car at exactly 7 o'clock. 2 hours, and the battery went down 2% from 90 to 88. So that's basically 2% battery drain every 2 hours. That is not bad at all. Now keep in mind, you could turn this off if you want, or you can leave it on all the time and it'll turn off by itself. And I'll show you how. Now say you leave this on like this. eventually, I'm sitting under the light, it's going to stay on. If I take another phone or I take anything and I cover up those sensors, eventually the always on display is going to dim out. And you'll see it in a minute. We'll watch it dim out. It's going to dim out, then it's going to eventually turn off altogether. So what does that mean? So that means when the phone is in your pocket, or if you got, your phone face down on the table like this, you don't have to worry about that extra 2% battery drain every 2 hours. You see how it just dimmed? Now it just dimmed. Now if you look closely, it's still on. But if I would have left it like that, it would have turned off altogether. This is a hot feature. Now, like I said, I'll show you some of the fonts, but I'm loving this. If you at work all the time and you got your phone on the table, you could glance over, see the time, see how many messages you got, missed phone calls. You can see the date. You can see your battery percentage. The only thing that would have been better is if you could actually interact with it, but there's apps on the market that you can do that. But it would have been nice with the stock app if you could just tap on it and see your messages. So Samsung, we need that next. All right, so the always on display is a win. That's on both phones. Next, now let's talk about specifically with the Galaxy S7 Edge. Let's talk about the Edge. The Edge, like I said, it could have had a little bit more features, but it's still a go. It's still more features than the last version on your S6 Edge Plus, but still not as many features as the Note Edge. So you see now, if I scroll over, now keep in mind, you could change where you put the Edge at. You see I got it right here in the bottom. I didn't like it at the top because I do a lot of stuff at the top of my screen and it kept activating by accident. So I put it at the bottom. You can also go to settings and change the transparency. So you don't have to have that big white tab right there. You can make it almost see-through, or you can make it totally invisible. If you know where it's at, you know how to swipe it on. All right, so you activate the Edge. Now, as far as the Edge apps, now there's so many that you could choose from. That's stock, and there's some that you could download. And when I say so many, I don't mean unlimited, but it's a lot. It's a lot. So you got Apps Edge. I got my mostly used apps right here. You got Task Edge. Some of the tasks that I got set, I can just take a quick selfie, compose a text message. I got my daughter's phone and messages as two separate tasks. So if I want to send her a text, I just press the button, right to her text messages, press the button, right to her phone. Same thing, stopwatch timer, setup. I got my People Edge, people that I call the most. You got Yahoo News. Scan through, see who's on the news today. You got Yahoo Sports. Now, this is one that I downloaded. We'll refresh this for a minute. You see you got all your... now, you can set what teams you want and what sport you want. I'm into basketball right now, so I got my favorite teams to give me the scores. You got the weather. Okay, you got more news. I got my call logs. You could download that one too. I got text messages. You could download that one too. These are all $1.50 each. And that's pretty much it. Now, if you go to settings real quick, you can rearrange which order you want to put these in. So you don't have to have them in the order that I had it. You could rearrange any order that you want. Like I said, you could download some more. And if you look at the bottom, you could change the position where you want to put it at. And you could also change the transparency. All right, so I'm feeling that. I'm feeling that. Shout out to my next door neighbor too. They're having a barbecue today. I need to finish this video so I can go get a hot dog. All right, let's keep it moving. Next, real quick, before we move off the Edge, another feature that's hot about the Edge, if you got your phone face down like this, when you get a phone call, you're going to see the side of the Edge light up. All right, it's going to light up green. It looks really hot at night. Now, if one of the people that's in your People Edge calls, it's going to light up that color. Let me show you what I'm talking about. Now, if you notice, if you look at the People Edge, you see each person has a different color around the circle. All right, you see got green, orange, purple, blue. If any of these people call me and my phone is face down, that color is going to come on the side. That looks so hot when you got your phone on a nightstand or a desk. Sick. Let's keep it moving. Next, fingerprint scanner. Now, this is actually, in my opinion, well, not even my opinion, this is a fact. This is the best fingerprint scanner that Samsung came out with yet. Now, a lot of people were saying, oh, wait till you get your update on your Note with the Marshmallow. It's not the actual fingerprint scanner, it's the software. No, okay, no, because I already got the Marshmallow on my Note, and the fingerprint scanner still is not as good as the S7 and the S7 Edge. All you got to do now, rest your finger on it, and it pops right open. No more searching around. I would say this one works 100% of the time. Now, my Note, I would say it works maybe 95% of the time. So it's not trash, but this one is just way better. This is the best one that Samsung made yet. All right, so the fingerprint scanner is a win. Next, now that goes for both phones. Let's leave this here so y'all remember we're talking about both phones. Next, micro SD card slot. All right, sluts. Micro SD card slot for expandable memory. That is a major win, especially now that you can move apps over. Just in case you don't know, let me show you how to move an app over. All right, so you go to your settings, go to storage. Let's do this in real time. Go to storage, right? Now, if you notice, I got 16.81 gigs of unused internal memory. Okay, now internal storage 16.81, and you see where it says Android. That's my micro SD card slot. So let's click on internal storage. Let's go to use space. All right, now these are the things right here that's using up all my space. So let's go to apps. Now I want to move over app from my internal memory to my storage, my SD card. So let's see. Let's find the app and we'll move it over real quick. Let's see. Let's move over something that we don't really use that much. Okay, let's try Ingress. All right, now this is Ingress game. Now you see it's in my internal storage. Okay, so I hit change. Now I want to move from internal to Android. Just click on Android and hit move. Okay, transfer Ingress. Now, when you do this for yourself, I will say this, sometimes it might take up to 3 minutes. All right, so we'll give it a minute. Sometimes it's fast, but sometimes it might take all the way up to 3 minutes. You see it went from 0 to 60, but sometimes it might be stuck on 60 or 72. It didn't freeze, nothing wrong with your phone, just let it rock and it'll transfer over. Then when we exit out, we'll just double check to make sure, and you see that I got some extra space. All right, so it transferred over. Now let's see how much. Now I got 16.75. So it went down. So now I got more internal storage. Remember, it was at 1681. So now I got some more storage. So now you could go through all of the apps that you don't use or you don't really care about that much. You can move them to your SD card. Now you can't move every single app. Some of the preloaded apps you definitely can't move, but stuff that you download from the market, games and all that stuff, you could definitely move over. So that's a win right there. Remember, I complained that 32 gigs ain't enough. It still ain't enough, but that helps. That definitely helps. Next, let's talk about the camera. Now, I would say this right here is arguably one of the best cameras on the market. The only thing I can compare that I have, now I got a lot of phones, the only ones that I got that I can compare that I would say even come close is my LG G4 and the LG V10. Those got some hot cameras too, but this camera right here is ridiculous. All right, ridiculous. That's the only word I can say. Look at this. Now let's go through some of the settings real quick. Matter of fact, let's hit settings. Okay, now when you go to video size, you see you got all the way up to 4K video. Let's exit out of that. You got motion photos. All right, now I'll show you one of those that I took. Basically, that's the same thing that Apple uses on the iPhone. When you activate motion photos and you take a picture, it's going to take a picture of that picture that you took, but maybe 1 or 2 seconds prior to that also. So say I snap this picture right here. There's nothing moving right now. I'll show you one that I took real quick. Matter of fact, let me find that one real quick so you can see what I'm talking about. I'll do a motion picture. All right, this is a motion picture I took. Keep your eye on the screen of the car. I'm gonna hit play. You see the screen is moving? That was like so basically it's just gonna take a picture and it'll take a second or two right prior to that picture also. That's cool. So if you take a picture of a cat or something in their cute position, and you know cats be moving around so fast, you take that picture and you'll be able to see them in the way you saw it and a little second right before that. What else? Let's go to modes. On the camera now, you got all your classic modes. You got auto, you got pro. Now pro is kind of hot. All right, a lot of people ask me, did this have pro mode? And the answer is yes, you got pro. So now, personally, I'm not into photography and all that, so I don't really use all this stuff, but you could change the ISO, you could change the white balance, you could change the autofocus. You could basically change all of this stuff just like a professional camera, but if you like me, you just want to point and shoot, just leave it on auto, and you good. All right, my bad, y'all. I just got a phone call, and the person's number popped up on the screen, and I don't want to put them on blast. Anyway, you got selective focus. That's for if you got two items, you can focus on the one in the front or the one in the back. You got panorama. You got video collage. What that is, you're going to take 4 6-second videos and put them all on one screen, put some music behind it, real cute stuff. You got live broadcast. Shout out to everybody that's seen me and Max in Koreatown. That's what I used to record that. You got slow motion. got virtual shot. That's going to give you like a 360 shot. Play with it for yourself. It's pretty dope. You got food. All y'all Instagram cats that be taking pictures of your breakfast, lunch, and dinner. Use that food filter. And you got hyperlapse. All right, so I usually just leave it on auto. You do got your effects, all your typical Instagram filters. The camera on this, you could download more too if you want. But basically, the camera on this is a major, major win. This is the phone right now. If I'm going to a graduation, if I'm going to my daughter's dance recital or whatever I'm doing, this is the phone that I'm going to use to take those quality pictures. Now, if I'm up in the gym taking selfies, then I use the Nexus or the iPhone. Who cares? This is the most professional camera that I got on all of my phones. Next, now let's talk about the speakers. Now, this is one of those items that I could have put on my I don't like list, but it's not bad enough to say I don't like it. But the speakers, they definitely not the best, but they're definitely not the worst. Now, I would say that the Galaxy S6 and the Note 5 and the S6 Edge and the S6 Edge Plus, the speakers sound better. I hear some people saying that the reason the speakers don't sound as good on these, because, you know, to make the phone waterproof, they had to put something over the speaker, you know, to waterproof it. Okay, fine. So it kind of muffles it out a little bit, but not a lot. You don't really hear the difference unless you're in a super quiet room and you got both phones sitting side by side. Then you'll notice the difference. Other than that, you won't really notice the difference. But the speakers definitely not the best. And if you're coming from a Nexus 6 or Nexus 6P or HTC M9, then you're definitely going to notice the difference, because speaker placement from the bottom to on the front. If you got your Nexus with the dual front-facing speakers, nothing beats that. Speaker on the bottom, second best place, but still not the best. All right, so I ain't gonna rip the speakers apart too bad, but they could use some work. Let's play some music real quick so you can hear it for yourself. All right, me hiking in the snow. All right, so you hear that? So not bad, not bad. I would say the speakers is not bad. 10 times better than all of these budget phones. I will say that. So the Hawaii 5X and the OnePlus X and the Blue Vivo 5, 3 of my favorite budget phones. The speakers on this sound better than all of those. All right, but now for $800, I want them to sound like the Nexus 6P. Next, now let's talk about the battery. This is another one of those things that you don't have to get too wrapped up in. Okay, 3,000 milliamps, 3,600 milliamps, 2,800 milliamps. Don't get too focused on the numbers. The main thing you need to focus on is how does it perform in real life, because each phone optimizes that battery different. So you got some phones in the market right now that say, okay, look, we got a 3,800 milliamp battery, but you still can only use it for 4 hours with heavy use. That don't mean nothing. So this phone right now, without even talking about the numbers, I would say the battery life is a win. Using this on heavy internet beast mode savagery style, y'all know how I do. I'm online all day, all night. I could get a good 6.5 hours of heavy duty use. So I can easily get a full 8 hours, at work if I want to use some battery saving tips, such as turn off the vibration, turn the screen brightness down, turn off Bluetooth and Wi-Fi and all that. Then I could easily get 8 hours. But if you like me and you spend $800 for a phone, you want everything on. I want my location services on at all times. I want my push notifications coming through at all times. When somebody send me an email, I want that email immediately. I like my screen brightness all the way up. I like my vibration on. I got to feel that vibration. You know how we do. I like to have everything on. All right, so with everything on, you're going to get about 6 to 6.5 hours battery life. That's a go. Now, also, this is definitely the shit shower and shave phone. We said that about the last Galaxies, and they didn't change that. And what I mean by that is, when you work all day, when you get home from work, and your phone battery's on 30%, maybe 20%, you plug it into fast charge. Now, don't forget to turn on fast charging. We'll look at that in a minute. Plug it into your fast charger. By the time you take a shit, shower, and shave, now, depending on where you grew up, which order you're going to do it at, when you finish, your phone will have went from, I would say, maybe if you put it on at 30, by the time you're ready to walk back out the house, your phone is going to be on 80 to 90, depending on how long you like to shower. All right, so this is one of those phones that you don't got to put it on the charger for 2 hours. You don't have to put it on the charger and then go take a nap. No, put it on the charger, go get dressed, go handle your business, and by the time you're ready to walk back out the door, you got a full charge. Now, it does support fast charging, and it does support wireless charging. All right, so that's two major pluses right there. I'm definitely feeling that. Now, same thing with the Galaxy S7. This one, with heavy use, I would say the S7, I got about 5 hours. All right, 5 hours with the S7. Now, keep in mind, you got more PPIs on the display and a smaller battery. So, of course, you're not going to get the same exact time, but still, way better than my S6 and my S6 Edge Plus. Way better. Now, keep in mind, you do have Android Marshmallow, so you got the Doze feature. That does help. But the only problem with Doze is, fellas, you got to be careful with that. Now, if you got your girl, and ladies, same thing with your boyfriend, when you're using your Android phone that has Marshmallow and the Doze feature, something like the Nexus 6P or something like these, certain apps, if you got your phone on the desk just charging up, certain apps you're not going to get notifications from those apps. So if you're like me and you like to use this couple app, and that's how you communicate with your significant other, if you got the phone on, if your phone is in Doze mode and they send you a message, you're not going to get it until you pick up your phone. That could cause you some drama. If your girl's sending you a message at 3 o'clock in the morning using a couple app and you don't get it, next day they're going to be like, all right, you was out having a good time doing your thing, and you're going to be like, no, I was in the house watching TV. Why you didn't get the message? Oh, I got it when I picked up my phone. Trust me, fellas, the ladies, they don't care about Doze and they ain't going to hear all that. So be careful with the Doze. That's not on every app, but a lot of apps, it will doze off and you won't get those notifications. There should be a way to turn that on and off. I got to look into that. But the battery's a go. Next, let's talk about multitasking. Now, multitasking on this is back. Y'all know Samsung is the king of multitasking, and it works 100%. So all you got to do, hold down your apps button. Let's see, I can open up Facebook right now, and let's open up YouTube at the same time. All right, so now I can watch this YouTube video, and I could be scrolling on Facebook. All right, so now I'm checking out all the Facebook statuses while I'm watching the video. When you hit that button in the middle, hold up, let's do that again. Keep in mind now, you could make this bigger and smaller. You can resize this. When you hit that button, you could swap these. So now I got YouTube on the top, Facebook on the bottom. Okay, now, depending on which apps you're using, you could hit the second button. You could drag a picture from the top to the bottom. Now that's cool if you in an email and you're in a spreadsheet and you want to put a picture on that spreadsheet, take it right from the email, drop it into the spreadsheet. You can also hit the button. You can minimize this. Now I got the YouTube one on the top, so now I got it minimized into a little YouTube floating app that I can move around. So now I'm back on Facebook, scrolling around, reading all the statuses, find out who broke up with their boyfriend so I can send some messages. And then when I get tired of doing that, hit the YouTube app and it pops back open in that little window. Now you can also size it down like this. Let's close it down one more time. You come from the corner and you can size it down just like that, and you can make this one into a little ball also. A little ball. I always call it a little ball, a little floating app. So I got two floating apps. Now I can still use my phone, do whatever I want. If I want to take it back to YouTube, press the button, take it back to Facebook, press the button, resize these. You can open up to 60 of these at a time. That's true multitasking right there. Or you could just exit out of it. Multitasking on this is a win. Next, let's talk about speed versus lag. I'm gonna wrap this up, y'all. Speed versus lag. Now, what I mean by that is the OS, the operating system. Is it fast? Is it smooth? Or does it lag a lot? And I would say on both of these phones, no lag so far. Now, the only little bit of lag that I've had is when I'm downloading an app and I'm swiping at the same time. Sometimes you'll notice when you swipe back, it might take a little bit longer to center out. And I've only had that problem while I'm in the midst of downloading stuff. Or if you like me and you got 101 apps open at the same time. Then you might notice that little bit of lag only on the home screen. And y'all remember, one of my main tests I used to do on Android phones to see if they lag or not was real simple. Just do the pinch. If you got an older Android phone, do this 5 times in a row and watch what happens. No more lag. So I would say the lag factor on this, on the scale of 1 to 10, 10 being the most laggiest phone you could get, and 0 being super smooth, no lag at all, I would put this at maybe a 1. And that's only when you got 1,001 apps open at once. And you do got your close all button, so you can close all of these at once. Now, let's check out some of the features real quick. This is a hot little feature right here. Let me go to my phone real quick. All right, now say I go to my contacts. Now you got to set this up when you first get your phone. Just in my regular, regular stock dialer, go to search, right? When you go to search, say I just put in food, right? I search food. Now this is powered by Yelp. You see you got that little Yelp symbol right there. Now, these are numbers that are not stored in my phone. It's going to use your current location. You got to have location services enabled. It's going to use your current location. And look at it, just popped up all of these food restaurants that are close by my house. Some of them I never heard of, so as you know, I don't got the number built in my phone, saved in my phone. But they right there. And that works for a lot of stuff. Say I put in, let's put in towing. I need a quick tow truck. Now this one was in my contacts, Jimmy's A&B Towing. But now look, Yelp pulled up a whole bunch of tow trucks. Now you could put in car repair. You could put in anything you want, furniture. Whatever you're looking for, you're going to get the number right there and the address. That's kind of sick. All right, so that's a dope little feature right there. Now, this part of the video right here, this is going to be for the people that's new to Android or maybe you new to Galaxy. I'm just going to go through the settings real quick. Everybody else, that was it. That was the review. But let's go through the settings real quick. Now, when you look at the settings right here, there's going to be your quick toggles. You got Quick Connect. If I hit Quick Connect, it's going to search for any devices that's close by, and I can just quickly connect right to them. All right, so now you got your toggles, fully customizable. You could go to edit, switch up which ones you want first or which ones you want at the bottom. I like to leave the ones at the top, the ones that I use the most. All right, now you got all these notifications. You can scroll down, you hit clear all, and you can clear them in one shot. Or you could go to notification settings. Let's see, where was we? Go to notification settings, and you could change this up to which notifications you want first. Now, I'm on Facebook a lot, so if you notice, that's why you've seen all my Facebook app, my Facebook notifications popping up first. And you can also change what apps you want to show up in there. Now, fellas, if you're doing some dirt, and maybe you got WhatsApp and you got a little side piece on WhatsApp, maybe you don't want that to pop up in your notifications, you could disable that. Now, every time you just have to go to WhatsApp and check it manually, but it won't be there. Let's keep it moving. Let's go to settings now. All right, so if you go to settings, now this is on both phones, same thing. Now, if you go to settings, let's just breeze through the settings. Now, you got the quick toggles right here. Like I said, you could edit these two, put whatever you want, put whatever ones you want to pop up right there so you don't have to go looking for them. You could do that if you want. Now, some of these are self-explanatory, so we're not going to go through all of them, but let's see if there's anything we need to check out. All right, so you got NFC and Samsung Pay. Now, personally, I don't use Samsung Pay. I use Apple Pay. No difference, no difference. But I noticed that a lot of places that I went to so far, places that I go to, they don't accept Samsung Pay yet, but they do have Apple Pay. Go figure. But you got Android Beam. I don't know. I haven't used that in a while. Whatever. You got Android Beam. It's there, though. Let's see. Now, okay, this is what I want to talk about real quick. Smart Manager. You got to check your Smart Manager because this is a hot little feature right here. If you click on Smart Manager, first thing it's going to show you is your battery. So now if I leave the phone as is, it tells me that I got, it'll show you, I click on battery. As is right now, I got 7 hours and 28 minutes worth of battery time left. Now if I click on battery usage, it'll tell me exactly what apps are killing my battery. So I can see right now I need to close out my Gmail, close out the camera, close out couple, certain apps that's killing more battery than other apps. Now, these are two modes that you really need to know about if you got a Galaxy phone. Power saving mode. Now you see 7 hours and 28 minutes. That's right now as is. But if I put on power saving mode, I got 7 hours and 54 minutes. But the thing is, once you activate power saving mode, it's going to limit your device's performance. You ain't going to get no vibrations. All right, so no haptic feedback. You can't use your location services, and your email syncs and your message syncs. They're not going to come in like that. You're going to have to manually check those. Okay, not the biggest deal. Ultra power saving mode. Now this is the beast right here. Now look at this real quick. Right now you went from 7 hours and 20 minutes. If I activate ultra power saving mode, I got 17 hours and 14 minutes remaining. And trust me when I tell you, I'm speaking from experience, that works. I'll give you a perfect example how you use that. And I'll say the same thing. You came home, you shit, shower, shave, you charge your phone back up, and you're ready to go out for the night. And now you're on maybe 70%. You go out, you on Snapchat all night, you on Instagram while you in that cab ride, you watching YouTube videos and listening to music. By the end of the night, your phone battery might be back to, I would say, maybe 30% again. Now something happens and you're going to spend the night out. Fellas, you know what I'm talking about. You're going to sleep out. when you don't have to worry about asking somebody to borrow a phone charger and all that. You might want to just put your phone in your pocket and call it a night. You don't have to put on airplane mode now because you might miss an important phone call. You activate ultra power saving mode. Now, when I used this the other night, fellas, you know what I'm talking about. When I used this the other night, when I activated it, I had 33% battery. Woke up the next morning, I had 31% battery. But now, keep in mind, you could set this up to what apps that you want to be able to come through. I only left it as phone calls. I don't really, when I'm out and I'm, spending the night out, I'm not worried about my emails and text messages and all that. Only thing I need is my emergency phone calls. You can activate that if you want. Now, the thing is, when you activate ultra power saving mode, your phone will go into grayscale. So no more colors and all that. But who cares? When you got 10% battery left and you activate that ultra power saving mode, you're not going to be worried about playing Temple Run and Angry Birds and all that. No, you just want to make sure that you got enough battery. So this way, whenever you finish doing what you got to do or wherever you at, you can still make an emergency phone call. So ultra power saving mode, major win. You can check your storage right here. This is all from the Smart Manager. And the RAM, you can check your RAM right there. You see, I could just end all of that right there, just like that, clean the memory. Or you got one button, I could just hit clean all. And you'll see how much RAM you got afterwards. It'll close up all of the apps that you're not using for a while. And another thing that's kind of hot, every now and then you're going to get an alert in your notifications. You're going to get an alert. It's going to tell you that certain apps you haven't used for maybe 2 or 3 days, and it's going to put those apps on standby. And that's cool. That's cool with me. If it's an app that I haven't used in 3 days, who cares? Put it on standby. In order for it to be active again, you just got to click on that app. All right, so that's a hot little feature right there. Let's see anything else we need to see. All right, let's go to display real quick. Now let's go to always on. Now for the always on display, you can change the clocks. Let's go to clock styles. Here's some of the different clock styles that you can have. I like the one with the little blue, but say if I wanted this one right here, this is what it's going to look like. So you can change that right there if you want. Let's see, what else? That's the clock styles. You got a calendar. Let's check the calendar view. Oh, I turned that too fast. All right, so you can just leave it on the calendar if you want. Let's see what else we got. And you got image. Now, image is kind of cool too. They don't have too many images right now. So far, I like this one. It's kind of cool. Some stars and all that. It's kind of cool. But the most functional one to me would just be going with the clock. All right, so I just go with the clock and go with the blue. Now, you can also add a background. So I like this blue background right here, the blue, the green, the red. Let's see, which one did I have it on? Let me check my S7. I try to separate them so I know which one is which. All right, so I got the red on this one, so we'll use the blue on this one. Okay, so that's dope. And then, like I said, you can turn that on and off if you want. Anything else we need to see? Okay, you got screensaver. I'll leave that off, but that's if you put it on the Samsung dock or any kind of compatible dock. You could change to have pictures come up. You could change to have a night clock come up. A lot of stuff. Edge. We checked the edge features already. Advanced features. Let's see anything we need to cover on this. Okay, now you do got some gestures. All right, so you got your pop-up view. Okay, that's what we just showed you. If you want to, they call it a pop-up. I call it a little ball. You got palm swipe. Swipe over to catch a screenshot. You got direct call. So say you're sending somebody a text message, all you got to do is put the phone to your ear and it automatically dial that number. You got smart alert. That's if you like me and you leave your phone face down like this, when you pick up the phone, it's going to vibrate to let you know that while you had your phone down, you got an alert. So if you had your phone on silent, as soon as you pick it up, it'll vibrate, you'll know. You got easy mute. That's if you're getting a phone call, you just cover up the screen and you mute the screen. Mute the mute the sound. Now, one thing you definitely want to make sure you have on is your double tap to activate the camera. You definitely want to have that on. Look how fast that camera activates. Now, all y'all cats that following me on Snapchat, remember the other day when I posted that fight? I had the phone in my pocket. And when you see a girl going like this in another girl's face, you know a fight is about to go down. While I'm reaching in my pocket to pull out my phone, I had my hand like this, double tap. By the time the phone came out of my pocket, I was already activate in camera, ready for action. That's how I caught that first hit on the video. That's a feature you definitely want to make sure you leave activated at all times. Double tap to activate the camera. All right, and that's pretty much it. Any questions about anything, hit me up in the comments and we'll cover those. One more thing now, I always got to talk about when I do these phone reviews, the floss factor. All right, now, if you don't know what the floss factor is, that means when somebody pulls out their BlackBerry Priv, somebody pulls out their LG G4, G5, somebody pulls out the Nexus 6P, somebody got a Hawaii Mate 8, and you come out with your S7 Edge or your S7, are you sitting on top of the food chain? Are you the man? Or do you have to put your phone back in your pocket and wait for them to leave, and then now you the man after they gone? On a scale of 1 to 10, all right, I'm going to put a number on this. On a scale of 1 to 10, 10 being the best in the world, 1 being old school brick phone, I would say I would give the Galaxy S7 Edge, I would give this a 10. The S7, I would give it a 8. I would give it an 8. On a scale of 1 to 10 though, the S7 Edge is a 10. This is the best looking phone out right now. But if you notice, you see, you get them fingerprints on it, which is an easy fix. All you got to do is shine it up and then drop one of these crystal clear cases on like this. Drop a crystal clear case, shine it up, and you're not going to have to worry about that too much. You're going to get more grip. But this is the best looking phone on the market. Floss factor through the roof. All right, ridiculous. So do that. Do the same thing for your S7 if you get that. Get a little case like this, and you good. Anyway, hit me up in the comments. Like I said, if there's anything that I didn't cover, any questions that y'all want to ask, y'all know I'll be responding to all of the comments. Hit me up and let me know. Shout out to everybody that rock with me on Facebook, Foursquare, Twitter, Google+. Shout out to all the Google gangsters. I see y'all holding down that Facebook page. Shout out to everybody hitting me up on Boxer. And a special shout out to everybody rocking with me on Instagram. Y'all know that's where I'm at full time, 100% full throttle. And a special shout out to everybody rocking with the Amazon Warrior on Sundays. Y'all already know, Stream Gangsters on deck. Get your drinks ready. No meat boys allowed. Oh yeah, special shout out to everybody following me on Snapchat, Flossy_Carter. That's where we at. And tonight, we got Amazon Warrior After Dark. Now, I got a little bit of stuff I got to do, so I'm not going to get home till probably about 1 o'clock in the morning, but we still going in. So this is Amazon Warrior After Dark tonight on the late night. All y'all cats in the West Coast. It'll be prime time for y'all, but all my East Coast warriors, all my stream savages, get some sleep now. All right, get some sleep now, because about 1:30, 2 o'clock in the morning, we going in full throttle. Oh yeah, one more thing, I almost forgot. Fellas, ladies, say it with me. All y'all haters, all y'all trolls, close your eyes and picture me rolling. It's your boy Floss, I'm out. Deuces.